Welcome to Murderous Manicures, where I combine the allure of nail art with the thrill of true crime. If that sounds like something you'd like, please consider subscribing. Now, grab your nail polish and let's get into it. In today's episode, I delve into the Chad Doerman case. So, let's jump into it. Chad Doerman, a 32-year-old man from New Richmond, Ohio, lived with his wife, Laura, their stepdaughter, Alexis, and their 3 young sons, Clayton, Hunter, and Chase. They resided in a modest home in the close-knit community. However, on June 15th, everything changed dramatically for both the town of New Richmond and the Doerman family. Authorities received a distressing call from the Doerman residence on Laurel Lindell Road. Chad had tragically shot his 3 sons and also injured his wife, Laura, in an attempt to prevent her from saving her children. The only survivors were Alexis, who miraculously remained unharmed, and Laura, who sustained a gunshot wound to her hand. The details of this case are undeniably horrifying and profoundly disturbing. It is an absolute nightmare. Join me as I explore the chilling details surrounding the Chad Doerman case. This tragic incident serves as a somber reminder of the fragility of life. Stay tuned for an episode that will leave you haunted by the dark realities that can unfold within families and communities. It was around 4:15 when an incredibly distressing 911 call came through. A mother named Laura was on the line, her voice filled with panic as she screamed about her children being shot. At the same time, a 16-year-old girl named Alexis was running toward the nearby firehouse, shouting that her own father was killing her family. Witnesses in the area also recognized the urgency of the situation and dialed 911 to report what they had seen and heard. Without wasting any time, several patrol cars were swiftly dispatched to the scene. The personnel at the firehouse was advised to seek shelter, while approaching ambulances were also told to keep their sirens silent, not wanting to alert the shooter. A caller on the line informed the dispatcher about Alexis, ensuring that her safety was top priority. When the officers arrived at the residence, the heartbreaking reality unfolded before their eyes. 3 young boys had been shot, and their father, Chad, was sitting on the porch with a rifle, seemingly unfazed by the chaos he had caused. Despite the valiant efforts of the emergency responders, the boys tragically lost their lives at the scene. The body cam footage capturing this devastating event has been made available to the public. It's important to note that the audio contains the heart-wrenching cries of the boy's mother in the background. Additionally, the footage shows a black square that has been placed to protect the dignity of the young victims, as they were all victims of a cruel execution-style shooting. I will now play the body cam footage. Viewer discretion is advised, and if you don't want to watch it, please fast forward. I will leave a timestamp for you.
Where's he at?
He's shooter on the porch.
Get him right here. You got him on the porch.
We've
right
asked, that's the last place we've been told.
You show me your hands now! Stand up and walk towards us! Stand up now! Walk towards us! Stand up with your hands up!
We know we got a visual in the mail. Not showing his hands, not following commands.
Stand up now!
Not showing hands or following commands. His name is Chad Doerman. Chad Doerman.
I know, but we can't.
People need first aid, and he's not complying. And you know he's a shooter. Shoot him.
We gotta find cover first. We ain't no good if we ain't safe ourselves. Hey, no. We need it coming from this side where we can see them. Don't take cover behind her. We see them. We're going to approach from this side. We got cover. Right here.
6 numbers, 29 and 63 type up.
Yeah, we're okay right now.
Show us your fucking hands now! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up now! Stand up! Stand the fuck up!
EMS to stage and air carrier is going to go ahead and fly whenever any units can advise.
Get your hands out of here.
72.
Tell them we're 21. It's in the air.
Those guys can confirm that there's people that need first aid, and that's the shooter. He's not complying. They need to take care of the
I got it.
victims. They have to shoot him and shoot him.
Man, I ain't trying to hurt nobody. I'm completely sober. Never did drugs a day
63,
in my
we're
life.
21. Get the EMS over here.
Well, I did drugs when I was little, but I don't do drugs now. I'm sober. I'm not trying to fight you. Gatlin,
63.
get your butt inside. Gatlin, get your butt inside.
We on primary?
Now.
29, we got 3 kids down.
3 kids down, 16 up.
Gatlin.
63, we're 21.
Knock
Have
it off.
EMS respond over here.
You're clear, they're being advised.
Robert 34, just started mass casualty response.
63, do you want them to respond to the Laurel Lindale address? Where exactly do you need them?
We're right in the front yard. What are you doing, man?
Hey, are you copying all this?
Can I roll over? I ain't gonna hurt you. I ain't gonna hurt nobody.
You got anything on you?
No, I ain't got nothing, man. Phone, that's it. I ain't mad. I ain't nothing. Just make sure that dog don't come out. I don't think he'll bite you. Just don't reach for him and try to grab him and pet him.
All right.
He won't bite you.
What's going on, man?
Nothing. Can I stand up? It's kind of uncomfortable.
I'm gonna get
I ain't
you
gonna
here
do
in a
nothing. I ain't
second.
running away. You can do whatever you want with me.
Here. You the only one else inside the house?
What?
You the only one else inside the house? Sit down right here.
My daughter, she ran over to the fire department.
Sit down.
It's my stepdaughter.
Put him in the cage.
This is Will.
They're all being advised they've requested 2 additional medics. There's also air crews flying, but they need an LV for the medic coming. Yes.
Can you get the wallet out of my back pocket?
Shut up, dude.
21.
You had the right to remain silent, you fucking user.
Yes, sir.
Take the call. I'm on the monster now. I'm almost there. Yeah, 90 is where Chief and Captain's away.
The most shocking aspect of the body cam footage was how unnervingly calm Chad, the father, appeared. It struck me when he mentioned that he wasn't drunk, like that would be the primary concern amidst the tragic loss of 3 children. I can only imagine the immense strength it took for law enforcement to maintain composure while witnessing such a traumatic event caused by this seemingly composed individual, their own father. It's just sad. It's really just so sad. Amidst the chaos, Laura, whose hand had been injured by a gunshot, was quickly rushed to the University of Cincinnati Hospital. It wasn't until later that evening that she was informed of the devastating news that her boys had been officially pronounced deceased. As more details emerged, the community was left stunned by the horrifying actions of this reprehensible human being. It was revealed that Chad had been planning this horrendous act for months. He callously lined up his 3 young boys in the front yard. 7-year-old Clayton tried to run, assumingly with his big sister, who ran to the firehouse. Unfortunately, Chad pursued the fleeing child and shot him in the back, and then at close range shot him again, twice, in the head. At some point, Laura tried to intervene and seized the gun, resulting in Chad shooting her in the hand. In a chilling act, Chad then executed all 3 of his children. These innocent, sweet babies were defenseless and unable to protect themselves from their own father. Chad ensured that the one person who could potentially shield them, their mother, was unable to do so. Shockingly, news reporters became aware of the boys' deaths before Laura was informed. Tanya, a reporter from WCPO, later revealed that she knew the tragedy while discussing the story on the news that night. However, detectives had requested for her team not to release the information until Laura had been notified. During the legal proceedings, Chad's attorney requested a $75,000 bond. However, as the prosecution presented more details, they requested a higher bond than ever requested before, emphasizing the gravity of this case.
One of the most monstrous, craven, cowardly acts that will ever be our misfortune to see. To make things even more disturbing, Judge, this was no haphazard act. Again, by his own admission, he planned the events of this day. This did not happen on a whim. He's confessed to what I believe is the worst crime, at least I hope, that I'll see in my lifetime. I hope it's the worst fact pattern that ever comes before this court. Judge, it's important for the court to know in the bond we're going to request.
Chad displayed a complete lack of emotion in the front yard. Immediately after committing the brutal murder of 3 children he was supposed to protect. However, in a shocking turn of events, he put on a show for the judge, which I found absolutely repulsive. Prosecutor Mark Tekulov, who has been working in Claremont County for 34 years, described this case as the worst he had ever seen. Considering the breadth of his experience, it is truly heart-wrenching to hear such a statement.
It's by far the most sickening, horrifying crime I have seen. I can only imagine that the terror that these little boys felt and experienced as their father, the protector, was murdering them. Unfortunately, the mother saw this. You can imagine the immense trauma and terror that she experienced, and we will do our utmost within my office to see that this defendant never sees the light of day again.
I took a look at his Facebook profile and noticed that on Monday the 12th, he changed his profile photo and cover photos. Looking at his Facebook, one would believe he was a loving and caring father. It sends shivers down my spine to think about the events that transpired just days after those profile pictures changed. I also delve into Chad's past criminal history and found multiple motor vehicle offenses. More significantly, he was arrested in 2010 for allegedly choking his father, Keith Doerman. The case was later dropped when Keith did not appear in court as the prosecution's witness. In a recent interview on Saturday, June 17th, Keith explained that the 2010 charge was a misunderstanding and had been resolved. While I can't confirm the truth of that claim, it is understandable if Keith wanted to portray his son in a better light, even though there is no better light for someone who committed such a heinous act of taking the lives of 3 innocent children in such a brutal and calculated manner. Keith described Chad as a fun and loving father, but noted that he seemed to have snapped. With hollow eyes, devoid of any emotion. He made it clear that the person standing at the arraignment was not his son he knew. Keith also mentioned that he hasn't been allowed to speak to Chad despite his desire to do so. When asked about a motive, Keith expressed uncertainty, not knowing if it was financial, mental, work-related, or something else entirely. He emphasized his ability to have a conversation with Chad. Keith referred to Chad as a super father and believed that he was not the type of person capable of such actions. He stated that Chad was a good kid overall. However, he abruptly ended the call, expressing that he couldn't handle it anymore. I can only imagine the shock and grief that Keith and his wife, Gloria, are experiencing. Nevertheless, I would never consider Chad a super father, as no truly loving parent would harm their children, let alone kill them in a cold, brutal, and calculated manner. Additionally, if Chad had been planning this for months, as he admitted it, seems implausible that he simply snapped without any prior indications. I must mention that during court proceedings, Chad's attorney claimed that Keith and Gloria were willing to co-sign his bond. While a motive for horrific events at the Doerman home has yet to be disclosed, speculation suggests that there may have been issues between Laura and Chad, possibly leaning toward a brewing divorce. However, it is essential to note that nothing has been officially confirmed. In my opinion, committing such a heinous act against children in front of their mother seems incredibly vindictive. If there were indeed facing relationship difficulties, it is entirely possible that he committed these acts to retaliate against her or inflict grotesque suffering upon her. Beyond physical harming Laura and causing her lifetime trauma, Chad also traumatized an innocent teenage girl who had to witness the horrifying events unfold before her eyes. Another neighbor came forward publicly suggesting that Chad drank daily, yelled at his children, and even made threats towards their dog when it got loose. This neighbor claimed to have called the police on him in the past. If this is true, it could potentially explain why Chad insisted to the police that he wasn't drunk when they arrived at his house. However, in my opinion, he still appeared too calm to be under the influence of alcohol. There may be other factors at play, but it's difficult to say for certain. Amidst the heartbreak, the community has come together to support Laura and her precious children. Outside her home, a memorial has been set up, filled with items left in remembrance of the 3 young boys whose lives were tragically cut short. At a nearby baseball field, a memorial was established where players observed a moment of silence and offered prayers for the family. The New Richmond South Sports Association is collecting donations to assist the family. On Saturday night, Rachel, Laura's sister, posted a touching tribute to the boys. The tribute emphasizes that they were more than just victims of a tragic event. It portrays them as happy, funny, goofy, and loving boys who brought immense joy to their loved ones. The tribute expresses the need to proudly remember them, highlighting the blessings they were, the happy lives they lived, and the unconditional love their mother had for them. They are described as perfect babies who loved to fish, play ball, and cherished their time together. The pain of their absence is immeasurable, but their memories and their love they shared should be cherished forever. The house that once filled with laughter and love of 4 beautiful, funny, giggling, and loving children now stands as a stark reminder of the depths of human cruelty. The obituary was released, and it was the same obituary for all 3 boys, which broke my heart to read about each one of those boys. Clayton Doerman, 7 years old. Hunter Doerman, 4 years old. And Chase Doerman, 3 years old. 3 brothers bonded together in life and now for eternity, as God has reeled them into heaven for unending days of fishing, playing outside way past bedtime, laughing loudly and non-stop giggling. They loved unconditionally, sharing their big hearts with anyone who could make, laugh, and give them love. Clayton, fondly known as Clayton Man, loved making Lego creations, riding his go-kart, telling jokes, singing and laughing, while loving his best dog pal, Gaitlin. His love language was giving gifts, whether it be finding, creating, or sharing treasures. He loved his family and often looked out for his brothers. Hunter, fondly known as Hunter Dog, loved going to the creek and catching frogs, and his love for baseball extended beyond the ball field to his bed, an attachment like an extra arm to connect him to his ball and his glove as he slept. He loved calling his mom and sister pretty girls and telling them that he loved them every day. Chase, fondly known as Chasers, loved swinging on swings and couldn't wait to be a baseball player like his brothers. He loved playing with dinos and pretending to be a superhero. He was the best cuddler, wanting his mama to stay close by to give her many hugs. He will forever be known as Mama's boy. They are survived by their loving family. There is a circulating TikTok audio claiming to be Laura's 911 call, but it is actually unrelated and from a separate case. At the time of this recording, I have not been able to locate Laura's specific 911 call, as it appears the law enforcement has not yet released it. Chad was initially charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder. His first court appearance took place on Friday, June 16th. He entered the courtroom wearing a green smock, a precautionary measure used to prevent self-harm among inmates. The court hearing was brief, lasting approximately 8 minutes. During that time, the prosecution presented their understanding of the events leading up to that point. They clearly expressed Chad's danger to society, leading them to request the highest bond ever sought. Chad was ultimately granted a bond of $20 million before being returned to the Claremont County Jail. However, on June 22nd, Chad was formally indicted by a grand jury on a range of charges, resulting in a total of 21 charges against him. These included 9 counts of aggravated murder, 8 counts of kidnapping, and 4 counts of felonious assault. The murder charges pertain to the killings of the 3 boys, while the kidnapping charges stem from the act of holding everyone against their will. According to Ohio law, a conviction of kidnapping can be based on restraining someone's liberty while brandishing or possessing a knife or gun. In Chad's case, based on the indictment documents, it was revealed that he used a Marlin Model HC-22 rifle. The felonious assault charges involve knowingly attempting or causing harm to others. Chad made another court appearance on June 23rd, this time dressed in an orange jumpsuit. The second hearing was considerably longer than the first. He was assigned 2 public defenders. Each charge was read aloud, followed by an announcement of the potential punishments associated with them. This process took some time, as they went through each charge one by one after the prosecution presented a charge, including the aggravating factors and possible punishments. The judge assured that both the defense attorneys and Chad understood before moving on to the next charge. Given the extensive nature of the charges, which included 9 counts of aggravated murder, 8 counts of kidnapping, and 4 counts of felonious assault, Chad pleaded not guilty to each one. Once all the charges were read, the court moved on to the bond section. The prosecution requested no bond, and while the defense attorneys did not object, they seemed hesitant to have the prosecution delve into the case details. It struck me as interesting that Chad appeared completely devoid of emotion in this hearing compared to the previous one. Perhaps he realized that putting on a show wouldn't secure him bond, or maybe the harsh reality of the situation has finally sunk in. The prosecution has confirmed this information. My heart breaks thinking about 7-year-old Clayton and the fear he must have felt while attempting to run away, only to be shot and then shot again twice in the head by Chad. Law enforcement is still uncovering more details themselves. As in the first hearing, they mentioned Chad bringing Clayton back after he fled. However, now it appears they are stating that Chad ran after him and shot him while he was in motion. Each revelation seems to make the situation more harrowing. During the hearing, it was disclosed that Chad forcibly took 3-year-old Chase from his mother's arms. This thought is utterly dreadful and heart-wrenching. As a mother myself, I can't even begin to comprehend such a horrifying experience. Trying to shield your child only to have them ripped away from you, knowing what awaits them. I've noticed many people placing blame on Laura, saying they would have done things differently and fought tooth and nail to protect their children, even if they were injured. I totally get where everyone is coming from. It's easy to make such assertions, believing we know precisely how we would react and the steps that we would take in such a situation. However, the truth is, we don't really know unless we've experienced it ourselves. Until someone finds themselves in that unimaginable position, they can't fully understand how they would truly react. Moreover, we still don't have the details regarding exactly what transpired. It's important to acknowledge that Laura was fighting for her children, and let's not forget that. She also suffered injuries in this tragedy. When Chad decided to shoot her in the hand, it stripped her of her ability to protect her children in that crucial moment. While I don't want to indulge in excessive speculation, I must clarify that this theory has not been confirmed. However, it's worth noting that Chad's stepdaughter, Alexis, was reportedly running towards the firehouse. It raises the question of whether Chad may have attempted to shoot at her or bring her down as well. Additionally, it seems Clayton was shot at the end of the driveway after trying to run. It leads one to wonder if he was attempting to flee with his sister towards the firehouse, but was unable to reach there in time. Please remember that this is speculative based on the information available from the court documents, body cam footage, and the dispatch recordings. It is crucial not to take it as definitive proof of what actually transpired. It's just my thoughts. Weeks have passed, and the community is still grappling with the profound loss caused by this tragic event. Recently, the kids' coaches spoke to a news channel expressing their devastating grief over the situation. As of now, no motive has been released to the public, and there remains much speculation about the dynamics between Chad and Laura. Let us all continue to keep the family and friends affected by this tragic event in our thoughts and prayers. As they navigate through this heartbreaking situation and endure the immense grief, may they find strength, support, and healing in the days to come. Thank you so much for joining me while I painted some not so perfect nail art and shared a heartbreaking crime story. Your presence truly means the world to me. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts on this case is, and also what do you think about these nails? I'm happy I changed the shade of purple, and I truly love them. My 3-year-old daughter seen them and she was in awe with them so much she needed me to paint her nails just like mine. If you found yourself captivated by the twists and turns of the story, I'd be incredibly grateful if you would show your support. Simply give the like button a little tap, hit the subscribe button, and make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss any future posts. Trust me, I've got new content coming your way every single week, featuring thrilling murder, mystery, and semi-fantastic manicures. And guess what? It all happens on good old Mondays. Lastly, please remember to take care of yourself and stay safe. Your well-being is important to me. So until we meet again, keep rocking those nails and enjoy the excitement of my crime-filled adventures.